Open this up with Psalms, the 119th chapter, verse 1 through 16. But y'all don't know, we face Jerusalem, the land that we was brought from. Daniel, the 6th chapter, 1 Kings chapter 8. Pursuant to 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. Women are to cover their heads when praying and prophesying. Men are to uncover when praying and prophesying. 1 Timothy 2 also, verse 8, spread forth thine hands. Also 1 Kings 8:54. Once again, all praise to the Most High.
All praise.
Honor his only begotten Son, Yahushua of Nazareth. Long live the King. Long live the King. And may the Lord have mercy on the soul of our recently departed brother, young Thaddeus. Psalms 119. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the Torah of Yahweh. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies, and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed. When I have respect unto all thy commandments, I will praise thee with uprightness of heart. When I shall have learned thy righteous judgments, I will keep thy statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto, according to thy word. With my whole heart, have I sought thee. Oh, let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. Blessed art thou, O Yahweh. Teach me thy statutes. With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all riches. I will meditate in thy precepts. I will meditate in thy precepts, and have respect unto thy ways. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word.
Hallelujah! Say that!
Yes, sir. All right, family. Today we're going over the 7 spirits of the Lord. We're going over fear and knowledge in particular. We're going to focus and hone in on that.
All right, put that in. When we start that, Hebrew.
John chapter 3.
All right, y'all, we're going to the book of John, St. John.
Chapter 3, verse 26.
The 3rd chapter. Let's get her done. John chapter 3, verse 26. They came unto John and said unto him, Rabbi, he that was with thee beyond Jordan, to whom thou bearest witness, behold, the same baptizeth, and all men come to him.
See, they came to John the Baptist on a personal tip. John the Baptist went around baptizing people. He had followers, in the spirit. And Jesus, or Christ, Yahushua, excelled him in his teachings. And Christ was starting to get a multitude, more people was going to him than to John. So John's disciples showed up, told him what was going on. Keep going, man.
Verse 27. Yakanan, John answered and said, a man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven.
The whole movement of Christ is divinely inspired by the Father.
All right, y'all write down James 1:17 as well. Say the same thing. Look at James chapter 1:17. No man can receive anything except it be given to him from heaven. So as much as you be caught up in the flesh of somebody, that's a deep brother, sister, whatever, he couldn't receive anything unless the Father himself ordained it.
Yep.
All right? And James 1:17. All right, verse 28. Ye yourselves bear me witness that I said, I am not the Messiah, I am not the Christ, but that I am sent before him. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, which standeth and heareth him, rejoiceth greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This my joy, therefore, is fulfilled. he must increase.
There you go.
But I must decrease.
John had to decrease. With him, it wasn't about followers. It was about pushing the kingdom forward. He did his part. Now he got to decrease as Christ increased. It wasn't about a number game with him. Keep going.
Verse 31. And also, y'all, they go into the transition from Aaron to Melchizedek.
Absolutely.
John the Baptist was a Levitical priest. You feel me? The Messiah came to him to be baptized. You see what I'm saying? Then passed the order. It switched from Aaron, Levitical priest, to the order of Melchizedek.
Yep.
So on many levels, from followers, like my brother is saying, down to the switching of priesthoods, that had to decrease. Everything John was doing had to decrease. All right, this right here is verse 31. He that cometh from above is above all. He that is of the earth is earthly. Speaking of the earth, he that cometh from heaven is above all. And what he hath seen and heard, that he testified. And no man receiveth this testimony. He that hath received this testimony hath set to his seal that Yahweh is true. 34. For he whom the Most High hath sent speaketh the words of God. For the Most High giveth not the Spirit by measure unto him.
Christ didn't have the Spirit by measure. Christ had the Spirit full on. He can handle all that power. His Spirit allowed him to do so. All right, you can stop there.
You want to go down to the end? There's 2 more verses.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just end it.
Verse 35. The Father loveth the Son, and hath given all things into his hand. He that believeth on the Son have everlasting life. And he that believeth not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of Yahweh abideth on him. I missed that. So that's amazing, right? Where we going next, Hebrew?
Going to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11. Remember, Christ didn't have the spirit of measure. The Spirit wasn't given to him by measure. That's important. And that's the reason why he didn't have measure on his spirit. Everybody there? Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1 through 4.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow up, or shall grow out of his roots.
What was that talking about? The root and offspring of David. Verse 2.
Right, Jesse is the father of David. Verse 2. And the Spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him.
That's 1. The Spirit of the Lord.
The Spirit of wisdom
2.
and understanding.
3.
The Spirit of counsel and might. The Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yahweh. 3.
There you go.
And shall make him of quick understanding.
Of what?
Quick understanding.
Quick understanding. Keep going.
In the fear of Yahweh. And he should
understanding the fear of the Lord. That was the first thing that was mastered by our Messiah. The very first thing. It had to have been. You have to master the fear of the Lord, or the respect. Can you give me fear out of the concordance? Straight up. And notice how these spirits are complementing with each other. You got wisdom with understanding. You can't have wisdom just by itself. You can't just have application without understanding.
That's right.
And vice versa. It's vain to have just understanding without application. I mean, you can understand a concept backward and forwards, in and out, but without applying it, it's just vain. You just have understanding. Right. You might as well just sit on a penny then.
And that's not wisdom.
That's not wisdom. Absolutely.
I'm going to finish this verse 3. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yahweh. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
You know that charity too. Notice what it's being used for. It's not, he got this holding power for no reason. He's using it for charity. He's applying it. And there's application in the spirit, different administrations, different gifts that we may get. But Christ didn't get his gifts measured unto him. Alright, so next we're going to the Apocrypha, we're going to Sirach.
If you go on down to verse 10 of that,
Yeah.
I just want to read down to verse 10 of that because something very important. Now, Messianics, you try to just say this is David, but this is talking about Yahushua at the end of this, so that we get the understanding that a lot of times you see David, but Christ is David, because David is Christ. Not saying that they're the same individual, but Christ was before David and he came after David. But all of it's talking about him, and down to verse 10 will kind of explain that a little bit. So I just want to read down to that. Where you about verse 5?
Yeah, we're at verse 5.
And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them.
Is that now, y'all?
No.
Is this or is this prophetic? Can we put a lion and a lamb next to each other and not expect nothing to go down? Okay. Go ahead then.
Verse 8, and the suckling child shall play on the hole of the ass, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people.
In that day.
To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And I just wanted to explain that talked about both his coming, you know, coming after David and before David. But it's the same individual, Yahushua,
Right.
locally known as Jesus the Christ.
Right.
We have that fear too, bro.
Okay.
It's age 3373. It's fear. It said terror, fearing, awesome or terrifying thing, object causing fear. It says respect. In parentheses it has of God.
Respect, that reverence.
That's what's next. That's what's next. Reverence, piety, or revere. That's it right there.
Okay.
So a deep, profound respect.
That's right.
I was dreadful, exceedingly dreadful.
Yeah, and don't forget that part either. That's what keeps you in check. You're supposed to be shook at the, like David said right here in Psalms 119, I believe it's verse 120.
Right.
This is King David himself. He says, my flesh trembleth for fear of thee,
That's right.
and I am afraid of thy judgment. When you read about judgment day, the lake of fire and eternal damnation, that should frighten everybody in here.
That's
One
right.
line say what?
Verse 120, bro. That should frighten everybody in there. So yes, it's a deep, profound respect. But understand this, your God will jack you up.
That's right.
He owns a lake of fire. Remember that. He ain't got no problem putting you in the spot where you belong. So that should scare everybody. When it get a little too hot, we all get, we start panicking. Think about eternal damnation. And that'll always keep us conscious of what line not to cross. You know there's certain lines you can't cross out here, man.
Yep.
Why? Because you're going to be held accountable for it.
That's right.
Especially if you've been out here preaching the word and y'all out, folks, tribes, shaloming. Yeah. But too much is given, much is required.
Absolutely. And that's where knowledge come in, because you got to know what to respect the Lord about. I mean, you have to know, where his fear dwells in, where his commandments are. You have to. The more you increase your knowledge, the more you increase your fear. And with fear comes humility. You have to stay humble, because if knowledge by itself just puffs you up. Knowledge being left alone. I mean, you're no different than Satan at that point. Because Satan has plenty of knowledge of the Most High.
That's
But
right.
the fear isn't there. So without the element of fear, you liable to go off and do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Loose
That's right.
cannon.
Loose cannon.
Do what thou wilt.
Next, we turn to the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 19 through 22.
Oh yeah, this one of your favorites.
All y'all have Apocrypha is up on the board.
Yep. Can you explain the Apocrypha Judah knowledge?
For all those who don't got the King James 1611 edition Bible, what we know is the Apocrypha, which is the titles means the hidden secret, is contained between the Old and New Testament. The that the Protestants actually took out the Bible, but it's always still been a part of the King James Bible. So in order to get it, you can get it by itself, or you can order the King James 1611 of the Bible.
That's right. And it's a King James version. If anybody ever asks you, how is it a King James version if it wasn't ever translated with the writings of King, well, with the translation of King James? Also, you got a lot of important details in there, such as Feast of Dedication. The Messiah kept the Feast of Dedication. Where is that written at? You won't find it in the 66 books in the canon. All right, so we actually going to start at verse, jumping up to 12.
Sirach chapter 10, verse 12. How we looking now? Verse 7. Yes, man.
Let's go.
Pride is hateful before God, Yahweh, and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealing, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Please read that.
Because of unrighteous dealing, injury, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Why is earth and ashes pride?
Good question. Great question. You're made of dust. Dust. Dust that you wipe off your TV after a certain length of time. That's you right there. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Constantly being a spirit of fear. Stay humble.
There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such an one setteth his own soul to save. Because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. The physician cutteth off a long disease. And he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die.
Beautiful.
For when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts and worms. The beginning of pride is when one departed from Yah.
Is what?
When one departed from Yah, and his heart is turned away from his maker.
That's major. That's major. That's major. That's real major.
For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities, and overthrew them utterly.
Because of pride,
Right.
The Lord has cast down the thrones of the proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead.
One thing about the Lord you can be sure on. Whenever our enemies, whenever a prideful person or enemy of the Lord is brought low, guess what? The humble is exalted in the same breath. It happened in Egypt. It happened in Babylon. All throughout.
Verse 15. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations, and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen, and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away, and destroyed them, and had made their memorial to cease from the earth. Pride was not made for me.
It wasn't what?
Not made for me.
See, you made in a beautiful image of the Most High. So you get all elements of his character, all attributes. You get the anger, you get the love, you get the joy. Pride wasn't made for men. That's reserved only for the Most High. Because he is the Most High.
That's right.
Ain't none one of us should be proud of him. Not even a little bit.
Right.
Our bowels still stink.
That's right.
Right. My prayer still phone.
All right, let's go.
No. Pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. They that fear the Lord are a sure seed,
There we go.
and they that love him an honorable plant.
There we go.
They that regard not the law are a dishonorable seed. They that transgress the commandments or a deceivable seed. Among brethren, he that is chief is honored. So are they that fear the Lord in his eyes.
Here we go.
That's all for me.
Keep going.
The fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority.
The fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority. You know, when we read back in Isaiah chapter 11, it said, and shall make him of a quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. That has to go first. That show look the menorah. Just look at it. How it branches off. It's perfectly balanced. You got fear, you got knowledge. You have wisdom, you have understanding. You have might, you have counsel. You have the Lord in the center. It's designed like that for a reason. It's perfectly symmetrical. Knowledge and fear go hand in hand.
That's right.
Your knowledge is set up to increase your fear in the Lord. Your fear in the Lord is set up to be increased. You know, to increase your knowledge. The deeper your fear go in the Lord, the more humble you are, the more you abide by what you understand, the more knowledge He will give you. The more knowledge He will grant you. There's your increase. All right, keep going.
But roughness and pride is the losing thereof. Whether he be rich, noble, or poor.
Oh.
Their glory is the fear of the Lord. It is not meet to despise the poor man that hath understanding.
All right, we can stop there.
It ain't over.
Neither is it convenient to magnify a sinful man.
All right, now we're going to hit up Acts. I'm going to show you all an example of when somebody got authority, but the fear wasn't there. You know? And the Most High do things for a reason. We're going to Acts chapter 5, starting at verse 1.
Acts chapter 5, verse 1.
Right. I'm going to show you all an example of somebody obtaining authority, but the fear wasn't there. It's major. You have to have the fear. That's a major component with this walk. You want your increase? Increase your fear. Increase your reverence, your respect.
That's right.
Your awe of the Most High. All right, and a little background knowledge on Acts chapter 5. Peter and the other disciples went around establishing communities. We had our own community, you know. We shared pools of money, you know. Everybody there?
Yes.
Acts chapter 5, verse 1. But a certain man named Ananias, with Sapphira his wife, sold a possession, and kept back part of the price. His wife also being privy to it.
So this man, he went and sold his house or whatever his possession may be. He said, look, I sold it for 10 grand. Right? But he held back a certain amount. So he's telling her, I sold it for 7 grand, but he really sold it for 10 grand. All right?
And brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost, and to keep back part of the price of the land? While it remained, was it not thine own? And after it was sold, was it not in thine own power?
Look, if it's only in your heart to give the Lord 7 grand in this parable, that's just what it is. Give the Lord 7 grand. You didn't have to lie and say, hey, this is the whole cost of it. It's yours to do as you plead with. Issue is they lie. They say, no, this is all we got for it.
Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart? Thou hast not lied unto me, but unto Yah.
You lied to the Most High.
And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost.
Died on sight. The fear wasn't there. He didn't have no respect for the Lord. Just dropped dead. Heart bust in his chest right there.
Oh.
Keep going.
And great fear came on all them that heard these things.
Right, there go that fear.
There go that fear. Absolutely go hand in hand.
Get some fear. You gotta kill somebody to get your attention.
Right.
Blaspheme the Holy Spirit that fast.
And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him.
He got buried on sight.
Right. And it was about the space of 3 hours after when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. And Peter answered unto her, tell me whether ye sold the land for so much.
So you did sell it for the 7 grand? Oh, okay.
And she said, yeah,
All right.
for so much. Then Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord?
How y'all gonna come together to lie to the Most High? No hand joining hand. It don't matter. A lie still a lie.
Right. Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then fell she down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And young men came in, and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. And great fear came upon all the church,
There go that fear.
and upon as many as heard these things.
All right, that's it for that. There go that fear. Great fear fell on them after that. They gotta get right after that. Spirit of the Lord is nothing to play with.
That's right.
That's you. That's like just getting your license and hopping in a Ferrari. You gotta have some patience and practice. You have to have some discipline with it. All right. Next, we're going to 1 Corinthians chapter 12, starting at verse 1. I'm gonna show you the administrations of the Spirit. You know, there are 7 spirits to the Lord, but different administrations or different techniques, various ways to use the Spirit.
That's right.
And each man is getting a certain portion. You know, one brother might use wisdom. You know, another brother might use knowledge to gain souls. Another brother might use prophecy. I can chapter and verse real well. That gains souls. Another brother might have healing.
Everybody there? 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1.
Let's get it.
Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols.
Word Gentiles.
Were
We're
Gentiles.
Gentiles. Yeah. In custom and mindset. You can be a Gentile in your mind too. It's
Carried,
not just physical. It's not just your blood. Go ahead.
carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Wherefore, I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of God calleth Jesus accursed, and that no man can say that Jesus is the Lord, but by the Holy Ghost.
That's major.
Now there are
Diversities.
of gifts, but the same Spirit.
Different gifts or different administrations, but the same Spirit. It's one Spirit. Keep going.
And there are difference of administrations, but the same Lord.
There we go.
And there are diversities of operations, but the same God which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal.
See, the Spirit is given to every man, one way or another. You know, like I said, one brother may be good at chapter and verse. He can prophesy real well. He can, you know, present stuff to you real well. Another brother might gain souls with his knowledge.
Right.
Another brother might gain souls by working miracles, which is a lot of what the apostles was doing when they was establishing churches. All right, keep going.
For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, and to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit. To another the gift of healing by the same Spirit. To another the working of miracles. To another prophecy. And another discerning of spirits. To another diverse kinds of tongues. To another the interpretation of tongues. But all these worketh one in the self-same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will.
Dividing to every man severally as he will. Remember, Christ was the only one who got the Spirit without measure. It wasn't measured unto him. He didn't just get this one or just get that one. He had it all because his fear allowed him to have it all. All right, keep going.
For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ.
So also is Christ. Many members, one body. See, we can make up Christ's bride or Christ's body. Christ's body was a body in itself. He had all the spirits. Whereas, you know, a couple brothers have to get together to formulate the whole body. You know, this brother might be the arm. This brother might be the eyes. All right? Next, we go into the book of Sirach again, chapter 19, starting at verse 18.
Yeah, read on.
All right, starting at verse 18. Good. The fear of the Lord.
The what?
The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him. In wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life.
Yes, sir.
And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality.
They that do things that please him. It's not just sitting on knowledge.
That's right.
It's not.
Starting at 19. It says, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality.
So you have to have knowledge. You have to have knowledge. Because I mean, how else are you going to please the Lord if you don't know what it is that pleases him?
That's right.
It has to be there. Okay, keep going.
The fear of the Lord is all wisdom. And in all wisdom is the performance of the law.
See, that's what it boils down to. If your fear in the Lord is there, you will be performing the law. Right.
Right. Absolutely, brother.
Keep going.
And the knowledge of his, what's that?
Omnipotency.
Omnipotency.
Or all powerfulness. Paraphrase.
If a servant say to his master, I will not do as it pleaseth thee, though afterward he do it, he angereth him that nourisheth him.
I ain't about to do that, Daddy. What? Keep going.
The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. There is a wickedness in the same in abomination, and there is a fool wanting in wisdom.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Verse 24. He that hath small understanding and feareth God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
Look, y'all. If your knowledge is this deep, your fear should be this deep.
And
it goes hand in hand. If you had more knowledge but your fear was still hurt, you were actually angering the Lord that way because you're not abiding by what you know.
that's right. And let me just say this too, like, you know, later y'all have been getting, we've been putting the name of the Lord up on the board, and his name is those 10 commandments.
Right.
That's the beginning of his name, y'all. Once we understand what his name is, you can call all the titles you want. You can say Yahweh, you can say Yahweh, but until you know what his name is and what it means, then all you have is wisdom without knowledge until you understand that. Mal started off in Psalm 119, which is part of the Hebrew alphabet. When you look at that and you see Aleph, or Alph, how you pronounce that? Aleph. When you see that, and then you read those 10 or 15 verses, what's underneath, then you know what that alphabet means. That's what that letter means. And you go on to the next one, then you know what that letter means. You know, just like when you learn this alphabet of 26 letters, you knew what an A means. You teach your children, say, Arthur, Leroy. You know, so in like manner, when you learn who the Lord, you have to learn him. You have to put him on. It's more than just being able to recite what his name means.
Absolutely.
You said break it down to the basics.
What you saying, bro?
We're saying break it down to the basics.
You have to.
Basic understanding first.
You have to. You have to, because there's so many wicked spirits out there, and there's actually men that are calling themselves the Father. And they got people chasing them. And they're bowing down to them, kissing their hands and feet, and believe that actually this man can forgive sins, and you know, and at the same time he's sinning while they kissing his feet. But yet the power that he's displaying of deception is overpowering them to the point that they can't even see the words that are right in front of them. You convince somebody that I was born or I'm running a temple out of Miami. So the scriptures are wrong, not me.
Right.
Bethlehem was put in there. It should be Miami.
No, if you squint your eyes, Florida kind of looks like Jerusalem.
Right, absolutely. So
Can't find it. Some scholars say.
So when y'all hear things like that, and you know, and they make you look away from this into what they're saying, well, don't pay no mind to that. Is that crazy talk or what?
Yes,
You're trying to convince them of the lie that you believe, not the truth, because you're saying, don't look in there. That may have been. Well, how you gonna convince me of something that's happened with how you trust?
Right.
You know, what you say about? Absolutely. You know, or it's a misunderstanding and not understanding that is bigger than the titles that are in here, because in that day he'll tell us what his name is so that we can't profane it anymore. Right now the best we can do is water down versions and giving titles of what the Most High is, just like he just read, he's omnipotent, you know, he's everything, I am, I'm all of that. That's all y'all need to know about me. What do you need to pinpoint it for how it's spelled, you know? And then you speak in Hebrew in an English dialect. You know, and then you saying this is, if you don't say it like this, you're going to the lake of fire, you know, different things like that. And that's crazy talk because you're not understanding what his true name is, and his name is obedience.
Absolutely. His name is his character or authority. We not in captivity because of mispronouncing his name. We in captivity for mispronouncing his law.
That's
his
right.
statutes.
Absolutely.
Not those syllables. All right. Let's get back on track. Let's stop there. What?
Yeah, we're in 24. He that hath small understanding, the fear of God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. There is an exquisite subtlety, and the same is unjust. And there is one that turneth aside to make judgment appear. And there is a wise man that justifieth in judgment. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sad, but inwardly he is full of deceit.
Just putting on the show, trying to look bad.
Right.
With some sympathy. With some sympathy or something.
Casting down his countenance, and making as if he heard not. Where is he not known? He will do thee a mischief before thou be aware. And if for want of power, he be hindered from sinning. Yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil.
When you find opportunity,
He'll do what?
He'll do evil.
look for a chance.
Any type of evil. Betrayal evil.
That's right.
Judas evil.
That's right.
A man may be known by his look.
Oh.
A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance. When thou meetest him, a man attired,
His what?
attired
His clothing.
How you looking on the outside, outer cup?
in excessive laughter,
Always laughing, teeth showing all the time. Giggling, whatever.
and gait,
And his walk. Come on.
show what he is.
You already showed what he is.
So your actions speak louder than your words.
Absolutely. That's it for that. All right, next we go into 1 Corinthians, chapter 1. All right, y'all, we stand in Sirach real quick. We're going to hit up Sirach chapter 7, verse 7.
Chapter 7, verse 7.
Just want a little bit of that to add to that wisdom, how important it is.
Sirach 7, verse 7.
Hold on real quick.
We in Sirach 7, verse 7.
Just want to read a little bit more. That 7 through 14, y'all just understand that wisdom, just a little bit more how to apply that.
Everybody got it? A fin not against the multitude of a city. Hold on, y'all. multitude of a city, and then thou shalt not cast thyself down among the people. Bind not one sin upon another, for in one thou shalt not be unpunished.
Have a little discretion before you open up your mouth, because you can be around a crowd of people, you offend the whole crowd, you might, get jumped or some stuff. Just have some discretion. You gotta be overly righteous.
Loose lipping, huh?
Lose it, right.
Say not, God will look upon the multitude of my oblation. And when I offer to the Most High God, He will accept it. Be not faint-hearted when thou makest thy prayer, and neglect not to give alms.
Look at how our forefathers prayed. They wasn't faint-hearted. They constantly brought it to the Most High's remembrance. Hey, you did this for them. You did this for my forefather Abraham. You achieved this. Be not faint-hearted. Don't speak with doubt in your heart or on your mind as you pray. Your child don't come to you, hey, can I have a popsicle? Doubting you can get them a popsicle now.
Wisdom of Solomon 7 verse 7. Wherefore I pray, and understanding was given me. I called upon God, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I preferred her before scepters and thrones, and esteemed riches, nothing in comparison of her. Neither compared I unto her in any precious stone, because of gold in respect of her is a little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her.
Wisdom is a powerful spirit to have in our lives.
Right.
Really powerful. Riches, all these things about her. Honor, humility. Go ahead, Yaki.
I love her above health and beauty.
Above health. Keep going.
In beauty, I choose to have her instead of light. For light that cometh from her never goeth out. All good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hand. And I rejoice in them all, because wisdom goeth before them. And I knew not that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently, and do communicate her liberty. I do not hide her riches, for she is a treasure unto man that never faileth. Which they that use become the friends of God.
What?
Which they that use become the friends of God.
Ain't that what Abraham was talking?
Being commanded for the gifts that come from learning.
All right, now we're going to 1 Corinthians chapter 12, starting at verse 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 12.
12:1.
No, we have back up to
You already read this.
You read that already?
12 1 through 12.
Corinthians 1 and
26. 1 Corinthians 1:26. You know what I'm saying?
1:26.
sorry, y'all.
1 Corinthians 1:26 on down.
And the topic today is the 7 spirits of the Lord. Fear and knowledge is what we put the emphasis on.
1 Corinthians 1, verse 26.
Knowledge is set up to establish your fear. Your fear is meant to, in return, bring you more knowledge by how humble and how well you're keeping what you know, according to the scriptures.
Verse 26. For ye see your calling, brothers, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But Yah hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise.
So it's not about your outer cup. It's not about appearing to be wise or appearing to have a lump sum of knowledge. Most I don't deal with what appears to be. He deals with what is.
You trip off there. He said wise, mighty, and noble.
That's right.
So your PhDs,
All that.
you feel me? You're mighty, LeBron James.
All that.
You're noble, Prince Harry, Prince and all them. You
All
wonder
that.
why people that's famous in society, most of them don't got this right here.
You'd have thought this came through the mouth of Michael Jordan or something. Who laughs at the fact that he owns prisons. But y'all buying his shoes. You'd have thought this truth came through Bill Gates or somebody else. Oprah. The Lord ain't dealing like that. So if you're looking for a big spectacular, like, oh, okay, it gotta be true because Oprah said it.
Right.
You still miss this whole thing. The Lord don't deal with that. Not all those that wise, mighty, or noble after the flesh. He ain't called him.
That's right.
That's the reason why his son walked around everywhere. He wasn't riding around with flies chariot, had a flies warming on.
And he was homeless.
Homeless most of the time, didn't have a place to lay his head. Right? But today you look at somebody like that, like he's crazy. But we see right here in this verse, the Lord ain't called the wise, mighty, or noble according to what the flesh think is wise, mighty, or noble.
That's right.
He ain't called him. So that should be humbling to everybody in there. Like the Lord took time out from where he had to make sure you got some understanding. That's humbling because he ain't called Michael Jordan. He ain't called Bill Cosby. Feel me? He called you. All right, come on, bro, let's get it.
And Yah hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And base things of the world and things which are despised.
Y'all in the coat. Things that are despised. Base things that the world seems like, oh, that's nothing. That's some little cats. Nothing. They'll blow away soon.
Right.
Huh? The Lord take what the world think is weak to confound the mighty. What the world think is foolish, are y'all foolish? Huh? Confound the wise. We done sat down with people with PhDs in theology. Boy ain't pull one scripture, stuttering, feel me, fumbling, but see, and what it was, and I'm under the Pauline epistles. Who was Pauline?
Right.
Paul is a man.
That's right.
Who was Pauline? You see what I'm saying? You think, oh, brother, he coming down here, he got his PhD in theology, and that boy got handled real quick. Record time. You're like, whoa, what happened? Because the Lord ain't choose who you deem as wise according to the flesh.
That's right.
He chose the foolish. What the world deems as foolish. Like y'all at the bottom of that church building, and y'all ain't got no grand mega congregation. The Lord not dealing with y'all. Y'all paying rent, word?
Right.
But we see how the Lord get down. He take the rejects, the outcasts, everything you don't want, he'll use to confound everything you think that did.
That's right.
That way nobody can glory in the Lord, or glory in their flesh, or boast.
Nobody.
Go ahead, bro. Yeah, wisdom of the word is foolish with the Lord. Same chapter, but up a little bit.
That's right.
Let's finish it, bro.
And Christ came out of Nazareth, the roughest part. So even the base, which is what the scripture said, the base things of this world, he will make things of this world, things which are despised, which God has chosen. So everybody can get this. It's not about your income, because if it was about income, you know,
We through.
we done.
But we're through.
2 paychecks away from being homeless. We done. Right.
Hey, let me, he got 2 more verses, bro, and then pull your precept. Go ahead, bro.
28. And base things of the world, and things which are despised, have Yah chosen. Yeah. And things which are not, to bring to naught things that are.
Things that are nothing. To bring to naught, to put to stop the things that are. Beautiful. Come on, bro.
That no flesh should glory in his presence.
Right.
But of him.
You know my cousin Will Smith. That don't matter. They ain't getting you nowhere.
Yeah, you might have want to mention him anyway. You seen this chick? Are you serious?
Oh, man. Jake, you go around with a dress on?
30. But of him are ye in Christ Jesus, who of Yah is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption, that according as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in the Most High.
That's right.
All right, y'all. Let's turn to chapter 8. Same book. Turn to chapter 8 real quick. Precept.
1 Corinthians 8.
Start at verse 1.
Do not. You have
Yeah, real quick, to rock in this thing. It says, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself.
right.
And thou shalt find favor before Yahweh. Many are in high place and of old renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. For the power of Yahweh is great, and he is honored of the lowly.
That's right.
What was that?
That's Sirach 3, Sirach chapter 3, verse 18 to 20.
All right. You ready out? 1 Corinthians 8, start at verse 1.
Yes, sir. Let's get it
All
done,
right,
bro.
let's get it.
Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge.
We all have what?
All have
We all
knowledge.
have knowledge of the Lord on some degree, on some level. Keep going.
Knowledge puffeth up.
Knowledge does what?
Knowledge puffeth up.
Knowledge being left alone is not going to do nothing but puff you up.
Say
It
to
has
make
to be
pride.
accompanied. It has to be accompanied with the fear or the respect of the Lord.
That's right.
Otherwise, you get out of check. You get out of hand.
Humility.
The humility factor must be there.
Negro start thinking he knows something.
Say knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth.
Down to 6.
And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing, yet as he ought to know. But if any man love Yah, the same is known of him.
Same is known to him.
As concerning, therefore, the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other than Yah but one. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many.
Oh yeah, there's many gods on earth. We got the Buddha, we got the, was it Krishna, the Hindu god,
5% Negroes.
all them gods.
Gods of Egypt.
That's right, 300.
But there's only one true God, worthy of reverence or fear, and that's the Most High.
Verse 6. But to us there is but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord, Christ Yeshua,
One.
by whom are all things, and we by him. That's it. They said, howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge.
Huh?
Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. For some with conscience of the idol unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol.
With conscience.
They know what
They know it.
Right. And their conscience being weak is defiled. But meat commendeth us not to God. For neither if we eat are we better. Neither if we eat not are we the worst. But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak. For if any man see thee which has knowledge sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered unto idols?
He gonna think it's okay to do that.
They don't think, oh, well, shoot, the Lord must be down with that. I can eat to this idol. You just bruise his conscience. You just bruise his conscience.
11. And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom Christ died. But when ye sin so against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Christ. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world stands. Lest I make my brother to offend.
See, somebody could have been fell off because they seen you do something that bruised their conscience so bad.
Right.
You got to be mindful of what you're doing. You have to. Be mindful of the consciousness of those around you.
You're talking right.
All right, next we go into the book of Deuteronomy.
The chapter, bro.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 1.
We're going 1 through 6.
So we always got to watch trying to pump up it's all about Genesis chapter 1. Because sometimes you got to realize it can still be a stumbling block to somebody.
That's right.
What's more important, trying to drive into their mind about what you can or can't do, you know,
That's right.
or is it about edifying for the spirit?
Right. That's where that charity kicks in too. You know, ain't about getting puffed up. Hey, I know this. How much you know? It ain't about all that.
Right.
It's about your brother. You looking out for the next man's wealth in spirit first.
Right, the brother find out he can drink some wine and get overzealous. Go around his grandmama. You know grandmama don't deal with none of that drinking at all. She's from the South, 1940s, 30s. They don't drink, do none of that. Just because you know it's lawful for you to drink some wine don't mean you go over there smelling like wine.
Right. But she might not hear you out because of your stench.
Go ahead, brother.
When we were in 1 Corinthians,
Hold it down, y'all.
when we were in 1 Corinthians 8:1, and it talked about charity. Could you read the definition so everybody knows what charity is, because it says charity edifies?
Sure. We're going to 1 Corinthians 13. We're going to get the complete understanding of what charity is. What it means to be selfless, to do things of your heart, from your heart, without an ulterior motive.
Be 100, man.
Right.
Keep everything
For like,
tight.
yeah, be 100.
Some people do something for you to hold it over your head.
Now hold that page at Deuteronomy. We're going over to 1 Corinthians 13. Excellent question, sister.
And I'm going to read the definition for that charity as well.
All right.
It's G25. It says brotherly love, affection, goodwill,
Goodwill.
love, benevolence. And it says love feast. That is affection, benevolence. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Dear love.
Sincere.
That was
Sincerity.
word times what? G what?
G26.
26.
Charity. Yeah.
And to add to that, like Mally was saying, you know, with the whole thing with the wine, it's kind of like when Paul was saying all things are lawful but not expedient. You know what I'm saying? It's, even though it's not against the law for you to do it, but it might not be expedient or the time and place for you to be doing it. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And also, guys, we can overdo things too. You know, it's lawful for us to drink water, yet too much water can kill you.
Exactly.
You know, you can drown or hydro intoxication. You know, too much of anything really will kill you.
That's right.
So just have some discretion, some wits about you.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13.
All right. For the newcomers, the topic is fear and knowledge. Going over the 7 spirits of the Lord. How fear and knowledge complement one another. You know, you need knowledge to establish your fear in the Lord, and as you deepen your fear in the Lord, you know, you get an increase, and He'll increase your knowledge, so you'll have more stuff to fear Him with. And it's a cycle that keeps going until, you know,
Reach perfection.
reach perfection.
1 Corinthians 13 and 1.
All right, let's get it.
Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity,
He spoke angel language.
and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge,
This gives right there.
and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have no charity, I am nothing.
So you can have all these gifts, yet if the application of these gifts are self-centered or just belief, it doesn't mean anything because you're not pressing the kingdom for it.
That's
You're
right.
pressing your own kingdom for it, and not the Most High's. Keep going.
Verse 3. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing.
Because why are you doing all those things? You're doing it for yourself.
To be seen. Verse 4. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. Is not puffed up.
It's not puffed up, y'all. This ain't no measuring contest. Not to see who knows what. Not to see who knows more. Not to see who the Spirit of the Lord is on. It ain't about all that. It's about your brother. These people out here sleep. Waking them up. Edifying your brother. In love. Not in just knowledge.
Competition.
Competition, absolutely.
Verse 5. Doeth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked,
That's important. Not easily provoked. All right, let's get it.
thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity.
Charity, y'all. That's what it's all about. Brotherly love. I ain't expecting nothing in return. I'm doing this out of the goodwill of my own heart.
That's right.
To see you increased. Not to be looked at in a certain light. Alright, next we go into Deuteronomy chapter 6. That answered your question, sis?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6.
Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which Yahweh your God commanded to teach you, that you might do them.
That you might what?
Do them
Okay.
in the land, whither ye go to possess it, that thou mightest fear Yahweh thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son, and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged.
It's more than just knowing these commandments, y'all. You need the fear to keep them, to abide by them in your daily lives, in all your dwellings.
That's right.
All right, let's get it.
Verse 3. Hear therefore, O Yisrael, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahweh Elohim of thy fathers have promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel.
Here, listen up.
Hear, O Israel. Yahweh our Elohim is one Lord.
Is what?
One Lord.
See, the Lord works in singularity. Everything that he does is inside of his order. A lot of people don't understand that. It's inside of his order. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Who's the God? You look up the transliteration of it, it means Elohim. Or God's powers, principles. Our God is one. There is no order outside of his order.
Like the word one is a card. It simply means united.
United.
So when it says the Lord our God is one, it says the Lord is united.
That's right.
What does that mean? The Father give the orders, and the Son get it done. And it moves through the power of the Spirit. So it's the Father giving the orders, but he don't vacate his throne.
That's right.
That's something a lot of the non-Messianics never grasp. You feel me? It's like the Lord got him off his throne to come out here and holler at you. No, he got servants and messengers.
That's right.
And he sent that under his authority to come holler at you. Speaking the word of the Most High, not their own words. So the Lord our God is one Lord.
That's right.
And verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord, Yahweh thy God, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
Is that literal, y'all? Is that literal?
Yes.
Question. Is that literal? Should we have frontlets between our eyes?
If so, you better go get you some phylacteries.
All right, keep going.
Verse 9, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. And it shall be when Yahweh thy God shall have brought thee into the land, which he swore unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things, which thou fillest not, and wells dig, which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees, which thou plantest not, when thou shalt have eaten and be full. Then beware, lest thou forget Yahweh, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt,
Be careful.
from the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear Yahweh thy God and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people, which are round about you.
And your fear in the Lord is what keeps you from going after these gods or these strange methods of worship.
Bunnies laying eggs and stuff.
Festivities.
Right. Plain. Verse 15. For Yahweh thy Elohim is a jealous Elohim among you, lest the anger of Yahweh thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. 16. Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God, as ye tempted him in Massah. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments.
Diligently.
Keep
Always
the commandments
Always on it.
of Yahweh your God, and his testimonies and his statutes, which he have commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Most High, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land, which Yahweh swore unto thy fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as Yahweh hath spoken. And when thy son asked thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Yahweh our God hath commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt. We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt. And Yahweh brought us out of Egypt, out of America, with a mighty hand. And Yahweh showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon the president and Pharaoh, and upon all his household, before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he swore unto our fathers. And Yahweh commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Most High, our God,
That's that fear, y'all.
for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our Elohim, as he had commanded us.
See, that fear, that's a powerful element, y'all.
Oh, it is, man.
That's what binds us to the commandment. That's what keeps us on track. The spirit of fear. All right, next we go into the book of Jasher. 25 to 39.
Book of Jasher, chapter 23, verse 25. And while Abraham was proceeding with his son Isaac along the road, Satan came and appeared to Abraham in the figure of a very aged man, humble and of contrite spirit. And he approached Abraham and said to him, "Art thou silly or brutish, that thou goest to do this thing this day to thine only son? For Yah gave thee a son in thy latter days, in thy old age, and wilt thou go and slaughter him this day, because he committed no violence?"
Look how slick Satan is. Trying to convince you not to do something the Lord told you to do. Any inspiration that might come upon you to do something that goes against the Lord is of Satan. I don't care how you break it down. Any inspiration, from the small to the major.
And wilt thou cause the soul of thy only son to perish from the earth? Dost thou not know and understand that this thing cannot be from the Lord? For the Lord cannot do unto man such evil upon the earth to say to him, go, slaughter thy child.
Satan talking reckless.
And Abraham heard this and knew that it was the word of Satan, who endeavored to draw him aside from the way of the Lord. But Abraham would not hearken to the voice of Satan. And Abraham rebuked him so that he went away. And Satan returned and came to Isaac.
So now he comes to his son.
And he appeared unto Isaac in the figure of a young man, comely and well-favored.
Now he's changing his shape. Shape-shifting. Spirits can be a person, it can be a building, it can be a storm. It has no concrete structure, so to speak. You know, I'm not saying you can't touch it or anything like that, but it can be multiple things.
Right. And he approached Isaac and said unto him, Dost thou not know and understand that thy old silly father bringeth thee to the slaughter this day for naught? Now therefore, my son, do not listen nor attend to him, for he is a silly old man. And let not thy precious soul and beautiful figure be lost from the earth.
Talking about pops like that.
And Isaac heard this and said unto Abraham, Hast thou heard, my father, that which this man has spoken, even thus has he spoken? And Abraham answered his son Isaac and said to him, Take heed of him, and do not listen to his words, nor attend to him, for he is Satan, endeavoring to draw us aside this day from the commands of Yahweh. And Abraham still rebuked Satan, and Satan went from them. And seeing he could not prevail over them, he hid himself from them. And he went and passed before them in the road. And he transformed himself into a large brook of water in the road.
He did what?
Transformed himself into a large brook of water in the road.
Some water. Some water. Y'all let that sink in. Some water. All right, keep going.
And Abraham and Isaac and his 2 young men reached the place. And they saw a brook large and powerful as the mighty water. And they entered the brook and passed through it. And the waters at first reached their legs. And they went deeper in the brook and the waters. And the waters reached up to their necks. And they were all terrified on account of the water. And while they were going over the brook, Abraham recognized that place. And he knew that there was no water there before.
So he done changed the whole scenery. And Abraham said in his memory, this ain't familiar. All right.
And Abraham said to his son Isaac, I know this place in which there was no brook nor water. Now therefore it is this Satan who does all this to us, to draw us aside this day from the commandments of Yahweh.
From the commandments of who?
Yahweh.
Okay.
And Abraham rebuked him and said unto him, The Lord rebuke thee, O Satan. Be gone from us, for we go by the commandments of Yahweh. And Satan was terrified at the voice of Abraham. And he went away from them. And the place again became dry land, as it was at first.
That's it for that. See, your fear of the Lord will take you a long ways. He's straight engaged in supernatural warfare. Supernatural warfare. Satan changed the whole environment. Right, next we're going to 1 Samuel chapter 24.
1 Samuel chapter 24.
Yes.
25.
And y'all continue to read that story as well. Y'all see that how he appeared to Sarah next. And had her so shook up, you know, that she basically had a heart attack. When he told her what Abraham was doing with her only
only begotten son, so
Right.
to speak, you know. Shook her up so bad, she lost it.
Died right on sight.
So he's still up to his same old tricks out from the garden. He can't get it through the man or the son. He definitely coming through the woman. 1 Samuel chapter
24.
24.
Start at verse 1.
And it came to pass when Saul was returned from following the Philistines, that it was told him, saying, Behold, David is in the wilderness of NGD. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel and went to seek David and his men upon the rocks of the wild goats.
See, Saul had the spirit of jealousy over him. And he knew David was going to succeed him. He knew this in spirit because the spirit of the Lord departed from Saul because of disobedience. So he got the drop on David. Found out where he was at. And I ain't gonna go to slide.
Drop. Got a drop.
Come on, y'all.
And he came to the sheepcote by the way, where was a cave. And Saul went in to cover his feet. And David and his men remained in the sides of the cave. And that's where he went to. When you cover your feet, you're going to take a dump. And the men of David said unto him, Behold, the day of which the Lord said unto thee, Behold, I will deliver thine enemy into thine hand, that thou mayest do to him as it seemed good unto thee.
As it seemed good unto thee. So the Lord left that open-ended. Do as it seemed good unto thee. Keep going.
Then David arose and cut off the skirt of Saul's robe privately.
Just a part of his robe. Just cut off a part of it. Didn't touch the man, but just his clothes.
Could have killed you, boy.
And you didn't see it coming.
And it came to pass afterward that David's heart smote him because he had cut off Saul's skirt. And he said unto his men, The Lord forbid that I should do this thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch forth mine hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord.
David's spirit was so contrite that he felt bad for even touching the man's clothes. He had that much fear of the Lord to where even something that seemed so small was a great deal to him because he respected the Lord.
Right. And that the Lord had anointed Saul. That's
Right.
Like, that's a major thing. Like, he ain't just looking at some chump, you know. The Lord told him he was going to be king. He still was like, I'm not putting him to death. But the Lord anointed him. I can't kill this man. He got fear for the Lord. That's why.
That's exactly why.
Today, he just took his head off real quick. Feel me? There he was, back turn, kill him.
Right.
He like, nah, man, the Lord anointed this man. I can't just kill this man.
Right. So David stayed his servants with these words, and suffered them not to rise against Saul. But Saul rose up out of the cave and went on his way. David also arose afterward and went out of the cave and cried after Saul, saying, My Lord the king. And when Saul looked behind him, David stooped with his face to the earth and bowed himself.
Look how humble David is.
And David said to Saul, Wherefore hearest thou men's words, saying, Behold, David seeketh thy hurt. Behold, this day thine eyes have seen how that the Lord hath delivered thee today into mine hand in the cave. And some bade me kill thee, but mine eyes spared thee. And I said, I will not put forth mine hand against my Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed. Moreover, my father, see the skirt of thy robe in my hand, for in that I cut off the skirt of thy robe, and killed thee not. Know thou and see that there is neither evil nor transgression in mine hand, and I have not sinned against thee. Yet thou huntest my soul.
See, David used this as an opportunity to make peace. He was a peacemaker. Look, I'm not trying to start no beef or nothing like that. I could have whacked you a long time ago. There's the evidence. You know, some people actually wanted me to whack you. I didn't do it though. I'm showing you that, hey, I don't have nothing against you.
Yeah.
Lord.
Bring it out, man.
Keep going.
The Lord judge between me and thee, and the Lord avenge me of thee. But mine hand shall not be upon thee. As saith the proverb of the ancients, wickedness proceeded from the wicked, but mine hand shall not be upon thee. After whom is the king of Israel come out? After whom dost thou pursue? After a dead dog? After a flea? The Lord therefore be judge, and judge between me and thee, and see, and plead my cause, and deliver me out of thine hand. And it came to pass, when David had made an end of speaking these words unto Saul, that Saul said, Is this thy voice, my son David? And Saul lifted up his voice and wept.
Oh.
And he said to David, Thou art more righteous than I, for thou hast rewarded me good, whereas I have rewarded thee evil. And thou hast showed this day how that thou hast dealt well with me. For as much as when the Lord had delivered me into thine hand, thou killest me not. For if a man find his enemy, will he let him go well away? Wherefore the Lord reward thee good, for that thou hast done unto me this day. And now, behold, I know well that thou shalt surely be king.
So he already confessed it.
And that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in thine hand. Swear thou therefore unto me by the Lord, that thou wilt not cut off my seed after me, and that thou wilt not destroy my name out of my father's house. And David swore unto Saul, and Saul went home. But David and his men gathered him up unto the hope.
All right, y'all, write down Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. Says a soft answer turn away wrath. You know, when you're dealing with different people, you know, somebody's upset that you were mad at you, you can either add fuel to the fire or you put the fire out. Is that simple? All right. All right, so I want to take a break.
And this was a couple times that Saul used to just throw javelins at David and try to stick him in the head with it.
For no reason.
And David had to play, and the main thing was he knew David was going to succeed him in being king of Israel because of his transgression. You know, of not doing what the Lord told him to do. So he was out to try to kill David, but David could have caught him, y'all, right there while he was reading his Popular Mechanic magazine, bent over. And he never even knew it, y'all. So y'all think about that, y'all. And this is how, y'all, we have to be mindful of how quick the Lord can take us out of here being just a blade of grass, y'all. It can go that quick as well with us.
That's true.
Y'all, we need to always be on our game and understand what's going on out there. Two things coming up after Feast of Pentecost coming up, and that'll be on May the 24th. The location required for this feast is at Dunnigan Park, and that's right off of, I believe it was Pullman, right off of New Halls Ferry, right past West Florissant. Yeah. So y'all, it's right out in Florissant, y'all. It's a nice location. Pretty much the area that we had last year is kind of off to ourselves, you know. And y'all know how we do it as usual. You know, we'll get some things going, and we'll explain to everybody the cost will be minimum. You know, just $10 for an individual, $15 for a family. Y'all, we have to do this, y'all, because everything we do is out of our own pockets, y'all. We ain't got nothing coming. We got nothing coming from the government. So, y'all, we have a large congregation, y'all, and we like to eat. So, and it costs to eat. So, you know, we try to keep it as low as possible, y'all, because most I say I come quickly. You know, and we got to hasten, y'all, just like the Passover said, we got to hasten and eat this word, y'all. We got to eat it while it's time, y'all. Because look, tomorrow ain't promised to none of us. So y'all, we need to keep that in mind. And y'all, we stay this course. There's a lot of things going on out here, y'all. It's target practice. Y'all, it ain't just here in America.
a sister over in Israel was in the army over there, and they say she committed suicide. Shot herself in the head twice with an M16. Now, how do you do that?
Right.
And it's over in the homeland. She knew who she was. She was part of Benny Meeting camp, but joined their service over there in the end. But still, you can't escape Deuteronomy 28, y'all.
No matter where you
Not even at home, y'all. So let us not get it twisted that you can flee or run away from this. It will follow you wherever you go. Because he warned us, and he explained it thoroughly to us, that when I come back, I'll set everything straight. And I'll gather you from the four corners. So we just can't look like it's happening here in America. I don't care where you go in this entire world, because it's the entire wilderness now, that this is not going to follow you being an Israelite. We are not a cursed people. We're just under a curse. So we need to understand that, so don't feel bad or look down on yourself. Just try to keep these commandments, and the Lord will put a hedge around you. A lot of times, y'all, these things, they just go right around us. A lot of times when you see on the news, St. Louis is number 3 in killing and something, you be like, what? You know, it's almost like that's surreal to you. You don't even believe it like what you're seeing on the news. Where that's happening at? You know, but it's a real thing. I mean, it's like the Wild Wild West downtown. And central headquarters is downtown, but they shoot out in Dodge City down there. In broad daylight. So y'all, let's keep our heads on the swivel. And, you know, guard your greed.
Hosea chapter 4.
And for any newcomers that showed up, the topic today is Fear and Knowledge. Going over the 7 spirits of the Lord, written in Isaiah chapter 11. You know, come up here after class, you'll get a complete list of the scriptures that we have gone over. All right,
Verse 1. Hear the word of the Most High, ye children of Israel. For Yah hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
a controversy or a problem. I have a problem with you. What is it?
Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
Oh, wow. So I guess bunnies lay eggs, huh? Because that's the truth. That's true, huh? Okay. Keep going.
By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood.
See, if you remove the spirit of knowledge out the equation, guess what? You also remove prayer out. And all these things transpire out there. All these things take place because you have no knowledge of the Most High.
That's right.
All right, let's get it.
Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven.
Even the animals get in trouble behind what we do. When we got kicked out of the garden, they got kicked out too. Let's go.
Yeah, the fishes of the sea shall also be taken away. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove one another. For thy people are as they that strive with the priests.
You could try to reprove somebody out of love, total heartfelt charity. Just, hey, I want you to get this right. I want to see you do better in your own life.
That's right.
And they wouldn't take that out of the pride of their heart. You know, they puffed up with knowledge. Hey, I know this. You can't tell me nothing. Okay. After you tell them twice, it's off you at that point.
That's right.
All right, let's get it.
Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
They are destroyed or destructured from the lack of knowledge. From the lack of knowledge. Is that important, y'all? Keep going.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
So we see what the knowledge is of. The knowledge of the law of your God.
That's right.
I will also forget thy children.
Y'all, we see also what caused lack of knowledge. Rejection. Man, I don't want to hear nothing about that. So now that data bank stays empty. You could have filled it with knowledge. But destroyed for lack of knowledge, not because you didn't get it, but because you rejected it. You don't want to hear it, ain't got time for that. Shorty can't eat no books, dog.
Shorty can't eat no books, baby.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 7. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore I will change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. And there shall be like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways, and reward them their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to the word, to the Lord. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stops.
And wine. Y'all pay attention to that, because that's relevant, really relevant. Especially to the children of Judah. You get into some of the lost books of testimony of Judah. Two things our forefather warned us of was wine and women, indulgences. So be mindful of those things.
Right.
Verse 12. My people ask counsel at their stops, and their staff declared unto them. For the spirit of whoredom has caused them to err, and they have gone a-whoring from under their gods.
Good stop there. All right, next we go into the book of Job, chapter 21, starting at verse 1. See, the Lord is perfectly balanced. I made a reference to the seven spirits of the Lord, to the menorah, because as you can see, it's perfectly balanced. You have the fear of the Lord on one side, you have knowledge. Knowledge is set up to establish your fear in the Most High.
Right.
The more knowledge you have, the more it ought to increase your fear. Because knowledge being left alone just puffs you up. It's vain. It's vain if it doesn't serve its purpose, which is to increase your fear in the Lord. And the more you increase your fear in the Lord, the more you increase your fear in the Lord, the more He'll deepen your understanding that you may acquire more knowledge. We also read that if you have a little knowledge and you abide by that little knowledge you have, you better than somebody who have a crap load of knowledge and not being set by it. They'll receive a worse punishment. You got a question, bro?
Yeah, I always like go one and one, man. I like it.
All right, go one more?
Yeah.
Can you scroll down?
Absolutely. Jackie? Yeah, 21.
Job 21. But Job answered and said, "Hear diligent my speech, and let this be your consolation. Suffer me that I may speak, and after I have spoken my own. As for me, is the complaint to man, and if it were so, why should not my spirit be troubled? Mark me, and be astonished, and lay your hand upon my mouth. Even when I remember, I am afraid, and trembling taketh hold on my flesh. Wherefore do the wicked will become old, yea, or mighty in power. Their seeds is established in their sight with them, and their offsprings before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear. Their houses are safe from fear. Neither is the rod of God upon them. Their bull gendereth and felleth not. Their cow coweth, and casteth not her calf. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They take the timbrel in heart and rejoice in the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth, and in a moment go down to the grave. Therefore, they say unto God, depart from us.
They say to who?
Therefore, they say unto God, depart from us.
Okay.
For we desire not the knowledge of thy ways.
It's a dangerous mindset to be in. I don't desire the knowledge of your ways. Get away from it. Dangerous.
What is the Almighty?
What?
What is the Almighty?
Talking reckless.
Man, that we should serve him. And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out? And how oft cometh their destruction upon them? God distributed sorrow in his anger.
All because they didn't want the knowledge of the Most High. All because that. Keep going.
They are a stubble before the wind, and as a chaff that the storm carrieth away. God layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For what pleasure hath he in his house after him, when the number of the months is cut off in the midst? Shall any teach God knowledge?
What?
Shall any teach God knowledge?
How can you teach your maker anything? What nerve do you have to even conceive that thought? Keep going.
Seeing he judges those that are high, one dieth in his full strength, being holy at ease and quiet. His breasts are full of milk, and his bones are moistened with marrow. And another dieth in the bitterness of his soul, and never eateth with pleasure. They shall lie down alike in the dust, and the worm shall cover them. Behold, I know your thoughts, and the device which ye wrongfully imagine against me. For ye say, where is the house of the prince? And where are the dwelling places of the wicked? Have ye not asked them that go by the way? And do ye not know their token? That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him what he hath done? Yet shall he be brought to the grave, and shall remain in the tomb. The clods of the valley shall be sweet unto him, and every man shall draw after him, as they are innumerable before him. How then comfort ye me in vain, seeing in your answer there remaineth falsehood.
You know, and this was Job. A lot of times he was speaking to his three friends. You know, a lot of them were giving him false accounts.
Yes, they will.
They realized that they were telling Job that it's something you had to do. This the only reason these sores on you. That's the reason your children are dying. You had to sin against God. And Job contemplated that for a little while, but in his mind, finally the Most High listened to him. But it was a young brother that came and cleared his mind up too, and straightened out the older head was trying to teach him them things that just because trials and tribulations come upon you, a lot of times people think it's something I must have done wrong. And a lot of times you'll beat yourself up and you'll go crazy. You know, you'll do some things that's not sane, so to speak, because you think something has happened to you. Well, you got into spiritual war. And that's the love of the creator of the world. So you got an adversary. And he's going to be coming after you, and he's been given us a limited amount of power to test your faith that came off of your lips.
Exactly.
And said how much you love the Most High.
Exactly.
You said that.
Exactly.
So you can't backpedal when the heat come on. You got to stand firm, just like Abraham. We just read that Jasher, what he was reading. You know, I rebuke you. Go away. And he will go away. He may go to somebody that you know and try to get you through that, but he will go away. Y'all, it's simple as that.
It is.
I rebuke you.
Get thee behind me.
Go somewhere else. Not now. Go somewhere else. Because just like you leave a crack like this, he can slither through.
Here, y'all write this down too, Isaiah 40, 12 through 18. It's going to what bro was talking about. Who is taught the Most High? Who was his master? Isaiah 40 and 12, it says, who have measured the waters in the hollow of his hand,
That's right.
and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance. Who have directed the spirit of the Most High, or being his counselor, have taught him? With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding. 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing, and vanity. Isaiah 40, 12 through 17. Who taught the Lord? And he counted nations as nothing to him.
Yes.
So you can't brag to him who you are. We're going to
That's in Ezra. It said the nations are a spittle.
2nd Ezra 6. Yeah.
2nd Ezra 6.
Yeah, 56 on down. Going through the same thing. All right, where we going next, all right?
We are going to Colossians chapter 1, starting at verse 7.
54 to 59.
Look at it.
All right, Colossians. Colossians chapter what?
Chapter 1, starting at verse 7.
The book of Colossians chapter 1. The book of Colossians chapter 1.
We can really start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Paul, a Shaul, an apostle of Yahushua, Jesus Christ, by the will of Yahweh, and Timothy is our brother, to the saints and faithful brethren, in Yahushua Christ, which are at Colossus. Grace be unto you, and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. We give thanks to the Most High and the Father of our Master Yahushua Christ, praying always for you, since we heard of your faith in Christ and of the love which ye have to all the saints, for the hope which is laid up for you in heaven, whereof ye heard before in the word of the true gospel, which is come unto you as it is in all the world, and bringeth forth fruit, as it doth also in you, since the day ye heard of it, and knew the grace of the Most High in truth.
It's day 1.
Notice it says, since you heard from it. Faith come by hearing the word of God.
That's right.
It's in the book of Romans chapter 10, verse 7. As ye also learned of Ephras, our dear fellow servant, who is for you a faithful minister of Hamashiach Christ, who also declared unto us your love in the Spirit. For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and desire that ye might be filled, with the knowledge of his will, in all wisdom and spiritual understanding.
The knowledge of his will. We have to know what his will is. That way we can fear him. That way we can reverence him and abide faithful by what he asked us to do.
That's right.
We have to know what he asked us to do first, don't we?
Notice it said filled with the knowledge of his will.
That's right.
Filled up. Verse 10, that ye might walk worthy of the master.
Not so speak word.
That ye might walk worthy
Okay.
of the master.
All right. There's a difference.
Yeah. Unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work.
Some of them.
Every good
A
work.
couple of them.
Every good work.
Okay.
And increasing in
the knowledge of the Most High. Strengthened with all might. Strengthened with all might.
That's the spirit too, ain't it?
Okay. According to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto the Father, which have made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light, who have delivered us from the power of darkness, and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones, or dominions, or principalities, or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. And he is the head of the body. And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence.
See, if you was a non-messianic, that hurt your ears. You would be bleeding right now. You be crying in your seat. Oh, dang, they shot my spirit. Yeah, it's gonna work. You got to.
And then somebody was saying, well, what do you mean by he was making everything? You just take him back to Genesis 1.
That's right.
Genesis 1, let us make man in our image. So when Paul is writing to the congregation in Colossae, matches up with Genesis.
That's right.
So to debunk what Paul's saying, you got to debunk what Moses was saying. And you can't do it.
Can't do it at all.
Some people get mad at Paul, call him a sellout. Hold him to the scripture. He quote the scripture all the way through there. Say, this is why I'm saying this. Going back to Genesis. Going back to Deuteronomy. Don't it say that? When Abraham declared righteous and given the promise of the eternal kingdom before he ever was circumcised, yes or no? And you got to deal with that.
Got to.
Because he wasn't circumcised in Genesis 17. What was this covenant the Lord made with him in Genesis 15? And promised him the eternal kingdom while he was uncircumcised. Non-messianic or messianic, you got to deal with that.
You got to deal with it.
How was Abraham declared righteous before he ever even had an outward sign of righteousness?
If it's about the outcome.
So when he's saying, you can go back to Genesis and read it for yourself. Let us make man in our image. Genesis 1:26. So if he's saying he was the firstborn of all creation, the first creature God created was his son.
That's right.
And he gave his son that power and authority to create everything you see, whether visible or invisible. It's a chain of command. Go down, the Lord get an order, and it get done.
That's right.
And really, the angels don't receive power until the order go out from the Lord's mouth. All they do is get the authority. Okay, you're going to go visit this person. If they say this, you got the authority to do this. If they say it like this, you can do this. And it can only go that way. And then they can go right back to the Lord and get the power right back. You got a question?
And you see Satan do the same thing.
Same exact thing. That's all.
He has to ask permission. Can I do this? So it's not like you could ever say to yourself, the devil made me do it.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't make you do nothing. Your faith was being tried. Faith.
Y'all watch this movie, The Devil's Advocate.
Right.
Y'all watch this movie, The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah. Y'all, so we don't want to fool ourselves or trick ourselves, but you don't have to be afraid. Y'all, all you have to do is just say, I rebuke thee. Y'all, it's so simple, but if there's no fear, if there's no belief that will happen, that's what Satan is counting on. He's counting on you having no fear.
Right. Caving into the pressure. You just set the scene, you put in the work.
Yeah, my question, two questions. When we talk about Enoch walking with God, Most High didn't make the world. So my two questions is the God that they're speaking of specifically, is that Yahweh Shah? And is that, the second question, is that a literal walk?
When you're saying he walked with God,
Yeah.
Is that a literal sense? Did God walk along the earth with him?
That's what, yeah.
Or was it in his heart, his commandments, statutes, and judgments? Or was it the authority of God? Now there is no God outside the order of God. So whether it was Christ, Yahushua, or the Most High himself, it's all the same. It's singular.
Right.
There is one God.
That's right.
And what we can do, we show examples of, Old Testament, New Testament, whatever, where messengers of the Most High were bowed to as if they were the Most High. You see what I'm saying? You know it ain't the Most High because it tell you, look, I'm the captain of the army of the Lord. You feel me? But you got men taking off their shoes and bowing. That's right. The same thing he told Moses. Hey, take off your shoes. That's right. You're on holy ground.
Right.
And he first drew the sword. Joshua drew the sword on the dude. Like, man, you for us or with them? He's like, no, you with me. Take off your shoes. Right. And he bowed. What is the Lord? What do you command your servant? And you let him know what it was. So, I mean, that's Joshua 5. Feel me? 13 through 15. And also that Exodus 20. Or Exodus 23. 20 on down. That angel that the Lord sent him out of Egypt. He said, I'm going to put my name in him and he ain't going to pour out none of your transgressions. What angel was given that type of authority? That's right. You feel me? Like, who can forgive sins? Only but God. That's what the Pharisees was asking when Christ was healing folks. Like, Christ was saying, your sins be forgiven you. Get on up. He's blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God? But the Lord said in Exodus 23, this angel can forgive sins.
Right. Old Testament.
You feel me? So people a lot of times get shook when they see where it say, okay, the Lord or God, and you ain't tripping off his chain of command. You see what I'm saying? Like, he sent messengers to come holler at you under that authority. Same with Yahushua. His son, you feel me? The son will be born who will be called God, everlasting Father, and everybody will get their kneecaps dusty bowing to him. Right. Now, is he the Father on high? No, but he's been given that authority or that name or that title to handle that business. Come on with it. You feel me? So you got two witnesses right there. You got Joshua 5, 13 to 15, and Exodus 23. 20 down to like 24.
That's right.
Exodus 15.
And walk with, when you're saying you walk with God too, that's it's literal as well as a spiritual understanding. So when he walked with God, every step he made, every thought he took was about the God he had Elohim. It was about everything that's written. He followed it to the letter. So he walked it, you know. Not necessarily everywhere you see him, he was spitting, but every move he made, exactly, it was concerning to God. So that's when he say he walked with me. You know, and they say God took him, but literally that they were just hanging out together like this, you know, like, hey, walk over here to the stove with me. No, it wasn't in that sense. You know.
Because Christ showed up to Abraham.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
right, and he showed up. Right.
If he never leave his throne, could you do right.
Well, the walk is just see, you can walk in your mind. See, that's a lot of what we feel to understand. You have to walk in your mind first before you do any literal walking, because Satan will show up and you'll walk with him. Right. So you have to be up here knowing how to walk with the Most High. You know, and he'll remove you from different situations. It's like in Numbers 35 and 34, he said, look, you have to be careful of everything you do wherever your congregation is. He said, because I come in the midst of thee. He said, where two or more gathered, I'm in the midst of thee. So we gathered. So where literally is Christ right now. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand, his spirit is abounding with us. So when Enoch was walking, he was walking with the spirit of the Most High, the same spirit he's speaking of now. He had all of them. He was breaking them down, because when you look in the book of Enoch, you can see what he was granted to see.
Oh yeah.
Right. And if you notice, he never went to the throne, which is the earth, about to right. heaven. Right. The only people that's been on earth was the Holy Spirit and his son Christ Yahushua. Right. He got some seraphim angels up there that's guarding the door. But ain't nobody, other than that, ain't nobody seen Yahweh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They always go through the sun.
Right.
So it's impossible that he could have walked in physical, because he ain't never jumped off the throne. So it's all in the spirit.
That's right.
That's right. All right, we got Psalms, chapter 147.
Y'all ain't got long, 4 minutes, y'all.
This is the last chapter I got, y'all, so.
It's all good, Hebrew. Keep it moving. That's what it do.
That's right.
Starting at verse 19.
147.
Right.
That's that verse right there.
That's that verse.
All right, Psalms 147. Yeah, about that fear.
All right, start at 11, y'all.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Psalms 147 chapter. I'm gonna start at verse 10. Psalms 147, verse 5. Psalms 147, verse 5. Great is our Lord, and of great power. His understanding is infinite. Yahweh lifteth up the meek. He casteth the wicked down to the ground. Sing unto Yahweh with thanksgiving. Sing praise upon the harp unto our God, who covereth the heaven with clouds, who prepareth rain for the earth, who maketh grass to grow upon the mountains. He giveth to the beast his food, and to the young ravens which cry. He delighteth not in the strength of the horse. He taketh not pleasure in the legs of a man. Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him, and those that hope in his mercy. Praise Yahweh, O Yerushalayim. Praise thy Elohim, O Zion. For he hath strengthened the bars of thy gates. He hath blessed thy children within thee. He maketh peace in thy borders, and filleth thee with the finest of the wheat. He sendeth forth his commandment upon earth.
His what?
His commandment upon earth.
Okay.
His word runneth very swiftly. He giveth snow like wool. He scattereth the hoarfrost like ashes. He casteth forth his ice like morsels. Who can stand before his cold? He send out his word and melteth them. He causeth his wind to blow, and the waters flow. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
His what?
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
They have not what?
They have not known them.
See, knowledge is a powerful thing. It's a tool. It's a spirit.
Praise ye Yahweh. Hallelujah.
All right. One more chapter, y'all. Sirach. 44. Last one, y'all. Sirach.
Chapter 11.
11.
44. Yes, only
No. It's only 34.
yes.
Sirach. Sirach. You got a question?
What's up,
I just wanted to bring something out real quick. Proverbs 1. This is Proverbs 1, chapter 1, verse 5 through 7. It says, a wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel.
That's right.
To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
Right.
But fools despise wisdom and instruction. Let's piggyback off what Brother was saying about fearing the Most High, which is the beginning of our knowledge. You know, for time's sake, Psalms 111, verse 10, about the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom as well. Praise Yah. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5 through 7.
And then that was Psalms.
Psalms 111, verse 10.
All right, y'all, we in Sirach again to work. Ecclesiasticus out of the Apocrypha. Chapter 44.
Starting at verse.
Verse 15. And if you got the red script, it's at page 97.
Sirach 44, verse 15. Somebody there? The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will show forth their praise. Enoch pleased the Most High.
Who did?
Enoch pleased the Most High.
How do you do that? Somebody?
Faith and command.
Right. Start word, verse 1. Yeah, let's just go on.
Go 44, verse 1.
Because of we have to learn from the ancients, y'all, and understand, where we have come from a lot of times. As men who walk this walk, a lot of times people say, well, you ain't walked in my shoes. Well, I guarantee you can point to somebody that had them same shoes on. If it wasn't me, nothing in this walk is uncommon to any man.
Right.
You ain't the first one to do this, or you ain't the first one that this happened to. These things are common because your adversary, if they're attacking, if he's attacking, he's using the same game. He's been using. And it's called get you to disobey the commandments of the Lord. So what shoes ain't nobody walked in?
Right.
Disobedience makes sense before the Garden of Eden, because Satan got thrown out of the heavens. So before he hit planet Earth, disobedience was in effect. Go ahead, brother.
And read that last verse before that chapter starts.
All right.
They go right in with it.
All right. So that's 43 and 33. Yeah. For the Lord hath made all things, and to the godly hath he given wisdom.
Oh.
Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath brought great glory by them. Through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power.
Hold it down, y'all.
Giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent in their instructions.
And these are spirits of the Lord, wisdom, counsel, might, knowledge, fear, understanding. All spirits.
Verse 5. Such as found out musical tunes and rejected verses in writing.
Recite.
Oh, yeah.
The King's English.
Verse 6.
Let's get it, y'all.
Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitation.
Living what?
Living peaceably in their habitation.
Now we're supposed to be peacemakers, like strive if only the situation called for, but in any case, it's peace you should be seeking.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be, forward or loose lipped. Have some discretion about you. Have wits about you. This is a tactical warfare,
Priesthood of Melchizedek, y'all. And the priesthood of Melchizedek is king of righteousness, king of peace. So y'all, that's what we seek if it's possible with all men. So y'all, that's the kingdom that we're going to be in. It's not a kingdom of violence. When Solomon finished the temple, that temple went on and there was peace for over 40 years with all the neighbors round about, y'all. Wasn't no war in the air. Like every time you turn on the news, see again somebody fight.
Right.
No, you got to prepare yourself for a kingdom like that, or you be looking, or you always thinking about a kingdom full of madness. And y'all, our madness, y'all, we turning on each other. So y'all, we got to get out of that mindset, y'all, and think about a kingdom of peace. The order of Melchizedek, because that's what it teaches.
Right.
And that's the difference from where Aaron taught us eye for an eye, and understand that because we were becoming a power head and we couldn't take no shorts. We had to represent ourselves as a nation. We weren't looking for nobody else to be an ally for us, to pick up the slack for us, like America do for Japan or they do for some other nations. They come to their aid. No, we were setting up shop to let them know we rolling with the Most High, and if any of y'all step to us wrong, it's gonna be major problems for you. So, but now after that's been established, like it's established now, we're seeking a kingdom of peace and righteousness, but it will be handled like Abraham handled it in the 14th chapter of Genesis. And then Melchizedek showed up. But Abraham went and handled some business. He went and got Lot, armed himself up. But it was about wicked man doing the things that they were trying to do to Lot, his nephew. He went and got him, took them spoils, and then when the king of Melchizedek showed up, he gave him the paper and gave the rest of the money back to the kings who Solomon and more kings had took over. He's like, look, I don't need that. I didn't go there to get paid or get rich off of that. And then the priests show up, the king of righteousness. So that was a powerful move there.
Yep.
You know, that was righteous what we talking about. You know, that was perfect hatred.
Right.
So to speak, that he spoke to David in Psalms 138, 139. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Hold on.
Verse 22.
All right. Verse 6.
Verse 7. Verse 6 again. Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations, and were the glory of their time.
Okay.
There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. But these were merciful men, whose righteousness had not been forgotten. With their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Their seed stands fast, and their children for their sakes. Their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are burned in peace, or buried in peace, but their name liveth forevermore. The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will show forth their praise. Enoch pleased the Most High, and was translated, being an example of repentance to all generations. An example of repentance.
And that's what we preach, y'all, repentance. Get right before the Lord enters into repentance. Repentance. Get right before the Lord enters into judgment. That's the whole gospel.
That's right.
Repent, for the kingdom is at hand. The whole gospel.
Repent or die.
Repent or die.
To all generations. Enoch pleased the Most High, and was translated, being an example of repentance to all generations. Noah was found perfect and righteous in the time of wrath. He was taken in exchange for the world. Therefore, he was left as a remnant unto the earth when the flood came. An everlasting covenant was made with him, that all flesh should perish no more by the flood.
And we see that covenant all the time. The symbol from that covenant, which is the rainbow.
19. Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High.
Hold up. I thought the law came from Mount Sinai. With the Levitical priesthood and Moses in them. Okay. Way before that. The law came from the garden.
Right.
The law was in the garden, guys. And if you actually start nitpicking at the scriptures, you'll find that Noah actually knew the difference between clean and unclean animals. Yes. But the Levitical priesthood didn't show up until hundreds of years later. How was that? How could he have known the difference between? He was told to bring 7 of the clean beasts and 2 by 2 unclean. How was that? How can he differentiate if the law hasn't been established?
Right. Who taught him?
Who taught him?
How did Joseph know not to commit adultery?
That's right.
That's
Okay. It must be a conscious establishment that has been with us since the beginning.
That's right.
That's right, all right.
Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful.
What verse was it?
20, that was the end of 20.
Okay.
21. Therefore, he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, and from the river to the utmost part of the land.
That administration, the spirit of prophecy, that's a powerful thing. Because if the Lord tell you, hey, tomorrow I'm going to deliver your enemies into your hand, that's a powerful thing. Because you know about all tomorrow, I don't have nothing to worry about. It makes you sure. It's confidence in that. It's power in that.
That's right.
If he tell you, look, you're going to have a child, well, shoot, that means I ain't going over for the next 9 months at least.
Right.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
That's right.
Bring it out, huh? At least, huh?
Lord gave me 9 years in the bank.
This dude.
All right, let's get it.
22. With Isaac he did establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him inheritance, and divided his portions among the 12 tribes did he part them.
12 tribes, huh?
All right, y'all.
Not so religious, though.
Anybody got a closing song?
I got any questions before we close out, y'all?
Any questions on the topic?
I just had one quick precept, but that was cool.
Okay, yeah.
Proverbs 8:13. It says,
Hold it down, y'all.
Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. It says, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, arrogance, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. So I just want to add that.
That was just 13. Was that 13?
Proverbs 8:13.
All right, family, don't forget, we got the garden meeting tomorrow.
All right, y'all, let's get this bro.
All right, y'all, we about to close out. Psalms 109. All praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All praise. Honor of his only begotten beloved Son, Christ Yahushua. Long live the King. Psalms 109. Behold not thy peace, O Elohim of my praise, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are open against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They compassed me about also with words of hatred, and fought against me without a cause. For my love they are my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer. And they have rewarded me evil for good, and hatred for my love. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. When he shall be judged, let him be condemned, and let his prayer become sin. Let his days be few, and let another take his office. Let his children be fatherless, and his wife a widow. Let his children be continually vagabonds and beg. Let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. Let the extortioner catch all that he had, and let the stranger spoil his labor. Let there be none to extend mercy unto him. Neither let there be any to favor his fatherless children. Let his posterity be cut off. Let his posterity be cut off. And in the generation following, let their name be blotted out. Let the iniquity of his fathers be remembered with Yahweh. And let not the sin of his mother be blotted out. Let them be before the Most High continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth. Because that he remembered not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and the broken in heart. As he loved cursing, so let it come unto him. As he delighted in not blessing, so let it be far from him. As he clothed himself with cursing, like as with his garment, so let it come into his bowels like water, and like oil into his bones. Let it be unto him as the garment which covereth him, and for a girdle wherewith he is girded continually. Let this be the reward of mine adversaries from the Lord, and of them that speak evil against my soul. But do thou for me, O Elohim Yahweh, for thy name's sake, because thy mercy is good, deliver thou me. For I am poor and needy, and my heart is wounded within me. I am gone like the shadow when it declines. I am tossed up and down as the locust. My knees are weak through fasting, and my flesh faileth for fatness. I became also a reproach unto them. When they looked upon me, they shake their heads. Help me, O Yahweh, my Elohim. O save me according to thy mercy, that they may know that this is thy hand, that thou, Yahweh, hast done it. Let them curse, but bless thou. When they arise, let them be ashamed, but let thy servant rejoice. Let my adversaries be clothed with shame, and let them cover themselves with their own confusion. As with a mountain, I will greatly praise Yahweh with my mouth. Yea, I will praise him among the multitude. For he shall stand at the right hand of the poor. For he shall stand at the right hand of the poor to save him from those that condemn his soul. Hallelujah! Say that!
And also, y'all just wanna, if y'all not heard, y'all lost a soldier, y'all. That was brother Thaddeus out there, y'all. That was gunned down by Jennings police, y'all, last night. So y'all may know brother Thaddeus as, you know, John the Baptist around here. Woolly Bird, but you know, y'all, we speak a lot, y'all, on agree with thine adversaries while you in the way. Y'all, it's a time and place, y'all. We have to be wise as a serpent, but we have to be harmless as a dove. We definitely cannot be harmful to our own self. Because if you're harmful to your own self, y'all, then you leave the door wide open for us. You know, so y'all, we want to, you know, we go in our closet this evening, send up a prayer that the Most High may have mercy on that brother's soul. But y'all, those who were around him personally, they could tell that he had some things going on in his heart that he felt that it wasn't going to be too many more days for him on this earth. He started to kind of give things away and make amends for any transgression he felt that he may have had against the people. So a lot of those things are signs for us, but a lot of times we don't see things because we look for tomorrow like it's a guarantee. And y'all, when we say if we'll see you tomorrow, the Lord willing, y'all, that's more than just a quick cliche to be saying. Y'all, those are very true statements, y'all. Very true statements.
I just want to say, I spent all day with Thaddeus yesterday. I was on board. And he kept telling me over and over, because we was rapping, I knew something was wrong. And I kept trying to tell him to get him some help and holler at his people. I called his uncle last night about 11 o'clock. And I told him, I said, something is going on with my brother. And I'll get him some help. But I told him, like we always say up in here, man, this truth is for real, man. This ain't a game. It's to the casket drop, and we say it time and time again. Guard your grill, man. Be on point. You can't be wavering in this walk, man. It's hot or cold. It ain't no lukewarm.
That's right.
The Bible tells you that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, so you got to be sure in this walk. And I can see just some things going on in my brother's head. And one thing that I know he said to me at least 20 times yesterday, and I just wanted to share it with the family, because I was going to say with the church and with the congregation, but we all we got. Y'all all I got. Y'all my family. It ain't just we come down here and get out for a few minutes, but it's like we do the chop session with the brothers, and I'm so happy you do that. because it's given us a closer relationship with each other because we know each other as men and our brethren and our walk, but we all love God with our whole heart and we put it down for him every day. But that has told me at least 20 times yesterday in our talks, bruh, I'm good, I'm at peace, and I love my brothers. So regardless of anything, y'all know how he went out. He went out with his scrip in one hand and his sword in the other hand, his sword and his shield. And regardless of what these earthly things and these people in this world bring to us, keep your focus on the Most High God. And stay the course, man, because it's till the casket drop. Endure to the end, y'all. But just know, man, he's at peace and he loved us, man. We was all we had. And one last thing, man, because if you tell me what time is it, bro, I'm going to tell you how to make the watch. I like to talk sometimes, but I got a lot on my mind and a lot on my heart. But know that is found a family in us, man. And that's where a lot of people be tripping. They say, you are part of a cult, and it's only because they find out the truth, we in the truth, and we love God, and we welcome people who love God.
That's right.
And then when you see your cousin that met somebody, he done picked up the Bible, and all of a sudden, he got 80 new relatives. You think they done sucked him into something. No, God puts us in places by appointment, not by accident.
That's right.
You know, we all here for a reason, and if we stay the course and stay true to it, 10 toes down, we gonna get there, man. And it's just like I said, baby, it's an honor just to be on the team.
That's right.
With that said, long live the king.
All right.
May the Most High have mercy on that brother's soul.
Absolutely.